I'm Shekinah. We are aiming to go into the metaverse. So if you think about the metaverse, the whole metaverse is intellectual property. You know, from the atmosphere that you're going to be in, from the clothes that you're going to be wearing, you know, the trees, everything is going to be someone's intellectual property. So that's definitely what makes it important. And so what is intellectual property? You know, intellectual property is, it's the artist's creation, you know, it's the musician's music, it's the inventor's, inventions. And so intellectual property protects what the artist creates. And then you think, well, there are different types of intellectual property. You have copyright, you have trademarks, you have trade secrets, you have patents. So copyright it protects the rights of the creators in their works, in fine arts, in publishing. It's the artwork that you create. It's the music, that you're writing. It's song recordings. In the NFT space, it would be the crypto punks. It would be the genies. It would be your bored apes. It would be the art. Trademarks, that is your brand. It's your slogan. It's, like your artist's name. For example, Fuocious, Beeple. This is what trademark is. It's the Adidas 3 stripes. It's the Nike swoosh. It's the logo of your company. And when you think about trademark, you have state-level trademarks, but you also have federal trademarks. When you're filing, for a state trademark versus a federal trademark, the federal trademark is going to be the thing that always wins. It's a lot stronger, also, than your copyright. So if you have a logo that's a character, for example, you can copyright to protect that art, but you also want to trademark it because the trademark it's stronger, it holds more weight when there's potential infringement. Patent is a very niche area of IP law, where usually your patent attorneys are very schooled in your hard sciences, so your computer engineering, your just chemistry, for example. So patents have to do with inventions. And with inventions, this is a computer software. And so if any of you are creating anything for the metaverse that has to do with a type of mechanism, then you could possibly be looking at a patent. And as you can see, some examples would be Nike's crypto kicks. These are kind of the first NFTs in relation to sneakers back in 2019. And then you see, just the Google PageRank, the Nintendo D-pad, that you see from the early Nintendo. Trade secrets are that special sauce that makes your company, your product, that separates it from all other competition. And famous trade secrets would be, obviously WD-40, but what's the recipe for Coca-Cola? No one knows it, outside of the company. And so that's what your trade secrets are. So those are just things to consider as you're building things in the metaverse. What sets you apart? What do you need to protect? So what do intellectual property lawyers do? We counsel, we protect, and we help you enforce. And so counseling, again, is what kind of IP do you need to file? Is it a patent? Is it a trademark? Is it a copyright? Is it all three? Then we also help you protect it. So that just means filing a trademark application, filing a copyright application. Again, not filing it on your state, not mailing a letter or mailing it back to yourself, the poor man's trademark, but rather you want to register it federally. And then enforcement. So enforcement is sending out those cease and desist letters and in eventual litigation, if it comes to that. And obviously the DMC takedown notices that I'm sure some of you might have seen, like, on OpenSea when it comes to multiple punk projects or people ripping off the crypto punks. Examples of NFTs and intellectual property in 2021. So there's already been some disputes outside of the intellectual property infringement with a lot of the rip-off projects, but one that comes to mind would be the Mars NFT house. This sold for, I don't know, a few $100,000 and $500,000. Thank you so much. $500,000 is what it sold for, and it didn't go to court. But after it was sold on Super Rare. The artist, I'm not going to name her name, but you can look that up. Okay, he said it. Exactly. There was a digital artist. So you had an artist. She contracted a 3D designer, texture to do to model the home, and he did this work and had no idea. I'm assuming he had no idea what the NFTs were. Finds out that what it sold for, it was like, wait, no, I own this. And he was wrong because there's a difference between joint work contracts and work for hire contracts and how you're splitting, the IP ownership. So that's just another thing for artists, to worry, just not to worry about, but to think about when you're doing collaborations and when you're working with, just with other companies and just what you're doing. And when you use consultants, you want to have that contract language be right, because joint work means 50-50 copyright, like ownership, and work for hire means you have 100% of that ownership. And then the second case would be the Jay-Z and Dame Dash Reasonable Doubt album. I'm sure you guys have heard about that. With that dispute, I think the thing to take away would be, when you're creating these NFTs, when you're creating work for the metaverse, and you decide to register your LLC, your DAO, whatever it may be, like your company. Well, who owns the intellectual property? Is it going to be the founders? Is it going to be the actual creators? Or is it going to be the company? And in this case, it was the company. It was Rockefeller who owned, the copyright ownership for that album, and not the co-founders. Tribe Called Quest, this happened again earlier this year, where their first five albums, the sound recordings for their first 5 albums sold as an NFT, and people were like, "Wait, what's this?" And they didn't get their permission. They didn't need to get their permission because, unfortunately, at the beginning of their career, they signed with a shady manager, and he owned those rights, and his estate owned those rights. So again, contracts. And then again, why is it important? Why is it important to have your intellectual property? Because when that brand, becomes popular, and you decide that you want to, license it, and you want to monetize what you've created and spent so much time on. You look at Micah Johnson, who's the creator of Aku, signed a film licensing, deal. And then you have Larva Labs, Pixel Vault, Yuga Labs, who's the maker of Bored Apes. And they have, signed, for IP representation with Hollywood level, artist agencies. And then the final words. I hear a lot, like the metaverse is a new community, it's different. No, trust is so easily broken, and so let's not be left holding the bag, but let's protect what you've worked so hard to create. Code is law. Please stop it. You live in a traditional world, okay? Like we're You live in a world where the traditional law rules. So let's remember that. And then all I need is smart contracts. No, you need the general clauses of legal contracts, of indemnification, jurisdiction, etc., dispute resolution. And when it ends, termination. And then if you have any questions, I guess the last word would be, if this is the thing you care about, the thing you quit your job for, and the thing that you hope gives you generational wealth, then protect it. If you have any questions, you can contact me here or just find me afterward. Thank you so much for being a great audience.